Good morning. Good morning, Carol. Good morning, Barbara Ward. How are you two doing today? I'm glad to see you here. I'm having an absolutely awesome day. Thank you for the thought. A few more minutes, we'll wait to begin. Good morning, Yvonne. Good morning, Marby. I'm not used to all the delays everywhere. So, good morning, Prime 3. For all of those of you who did sit and think this week, if you could but write a few words about how that was and how that felt. Good morning, Rita and Martha. Well, I hope we bring joy into work for you, Martha. Love to you, Yvonne, also. Good morning, Suzanne. So I did mention if any of you practice this week about sitting and thinking about what you would like to change, write me a few words. Seeing something I can't read. Hello, Suzanne, Martha, Sherry, Suzanne. Thank you, Martha. Because I did myself think a lot about it this week. We're at our time now, right? Yes. So welcome back to everyone who wants to know how to remake your life. And it's such a process of thought-provoking, but it also is participation. And what we're really going to learn today is what happens when you don't participate. So then you get to where you're just living the life of the ordinary man who wakes up in the morning and just moves through it, accepting that which comes, and doesn't have input, doesn't give suggestion to what's going on. So this last week, we were to stop and think about the need for change in your life. So I need to move back up here to see if anyone wrote. No. Good morning, Yolanda. How are you doing? Great to see you. So if we didn't do it in the last week, let's take a moment so that what we're going to talk about today is going to have an even greater impression upon you. What would you like to change in your life? What would you like to be different? What would you like to create? How do you want to use this power of the mind that we're learning about? Yes, there's so many ways, there's so many things, but we need to begin with a plan. Hello.
Hello.
And Rita's sharing with us. It was good to get into those little pockets of sub-thoughts that just float out there. I went and wrote out a bunch of newer, better thoughts on sticky notes and put them up in the bathroom. That sounds like a plan, Rita. I love it. Because it's true. May you be the one who shares with everyone. There's a lot of crazy stuff we have on our mind. You know? Hello, Ron. And Carol shares that she finds time when she gets into a pattern of self-judgment and criticism and finds it hard to move out of it. So this is saying to me, we have to realize we're attached to what we believe. And what do you think about that? Attachments are keeping us from being evolved in higher light and the greatest love we can know. So, good morning, Carmen. When we get into that place, we want to become the power of the mind, that whom and the part that suggests, which we'll learn more about today, what to think about, what to give empowerment to. So I think you're going to learn more about that, Carol, as we go along, and then you can let me know how that works for you. Good morning, Sherry, GGB. Good. So, what did we go over all the way till here? A lot. I was looking back over it and amazed at the information that the masters are bringing through to you. And I'm sure some of you have went back and had to watch it again. You know, I did have a thought that was sent to me. Is thinking, when we sit and think, does that count as a meditation? My response to you is going to be no. And I'm going to tell you why. Thinking is a use of the different part of the mind. Meditating is an intention to reach a place where you are in limitless light, the limitness of God. And there are 40 true ways we were taught by the Buddhas to attain that. There is no judgment about it, but the difficulty is, for a long time, everyone was heard that meditation was quieting the mind. And the truth is that it's by using techniques that have been ancient times old, get you to a point where the mind, the chatter, the ego experience stops, and you can allow an eruption from deep inside of you of truth. So that's my truth. That's what I believe about meditation. Very different than thinking. So let me see. I've had a couple people write here. So here's Yolanda. I'm making an effort to stop giving attention to things that stimulate negative thoughts and feeling. Very good. Congratulations. That's a wonderful thing to be doing, which I'm going to talk. It's called suggestion. You're wanting to stop giving in to suggestion and make a choice of how you want to be in the world. Let me see. Has anyone else mentioned it? All right. So meditating can actually go in and through the positive eruptions of truth, work with the cell to create new truths towards life and health. That's another thing we're going to learn today, that all this thought action affects health. Now, would you have thought of that? Maybe not. But knowing it certainly makes a difference, right? I wanted to let you know that the power of the word, how powerful it is that every word you speak goes out into consciousness and it will never end. So we are all participating in the suggestion of life for individuals. So the suggestion of life from the world at this moment may not be exactly what we want to be living. So then we must let that move by us and not tap into it like Yolanda was saying. We must move on and create the world that we know is possible and what we want to have happen. Okay, good morning, especially past situations. Yes. And good morning, Barbara. Thank you for coming. So we're going to look on how do we make this positive change. Now we may have an awareness of what we don't want to have affecting our life, but we're not really sure how to get to where we're going. So let's talk about it. Suggestion is a truth or a thought that causes a new thought. Interesting, right? Ignorance of a suggestion of love can be disastrous. So what does that mean? That means that every cell within your body isn't ever being flooded with light and love. That means that your world is pushing away thoughts of love to you. Instead, you're allowing disaster to come to you. So we want to become that awareness in ourselves that knows which we want and how we want it to look. And that's what this exercise this week was about. What do you need more of? What are you ready to let go? We're going to look at how many suggestions we've all gotten from life. Let's think of when we were born. What do you think our cells were filled of? Our parents' thoughts. We, at that moment, had no awareness of the power of the brain, and it just took it on. Or what was said when we were children. Oh, don't get your feet wet. You're going to get a cold. And I love it. My little grandson says, "Hi, that doesn't happen to me. I can put my feet anywhere I want." Now, you can see that as his stubbornness and resistance, or that he's already learning somewhere inside of him. He doesn't have to take on what other people believe is the power of what they believe. So good morning, Carrie. How are you today? So all these things through school, little school, middle school, high school, we have been bombarded with all these things in our childhood that we weren't yet cognitive enough to know, wow, we don't need that. In my age, in elementary, it was about being afraid of tornadoes, and we had a certain way we all got under the desk and hid our heads anytime there was a warning, and it never happened. I don't even remember a storm, and I don't believe I've ever been in a tornado. But in that experience that was kind of continually suggested to us, I know now when that hurricane came, I'm like, well, where do I go? Well, what do I do? And me as an adult, I was laughing at myself as those thoughts came up and knew exactly where they had come from. So what is it that your parents, in their repetitivity of what they believed, what wonderful gift did they give to you? Was it a fear of something? Was it a lack of something? These things we all need to look at and transform. So if you're wanting to know where are those things that need your energy, you can sit and write these things right there. Now, Susan says, setting boundaries and standing my ground. Well, my friend, I was one that was an issue for me, and I have no problem today sitting in peace and letting someone act out and be whoever they need to be, but not giving my power away to them. It's about your divine power. Instead, when you allow people to move through your boundaries, You are giving away your power to believe they're more than you or know better than you, and absolutely none of that is true. So it's happened recently to me, and I could just see the experience of, and as an observer, you can love people for where they are, but most importantly, in that action, you're loving yourself for where you are. You can call in the violet flame around you. If all of you don't know, the violet flame was brought forth by Saint Germain to clear the dysfunction, clear karma. And all we need to do is, from a rooted place and from within our heart, call forth the violet flame to blaze 10 feet below you, 15 feet around you, 18 feet above you. Anyone walking into your energy field will be blazed with the violet flame. The more you do it, the more you believe it, the more real it becomes. It's a powerful thing. Begin it in the morning, redo it in the day if you need it. And these are things how to change your life. Barbara says, loving is doing. Love is conditional. Well, love is doing, but I would say love is unconditional. So write your comment about that if you want, but love is loving people no matter how they think, what they say, or what they do. And getting to where you love yourself in the same way. Many of us, as I've worked doing healing over 30 years with a lot of people, hold a lot of anger, judgment, regret, all kinds of things. And now it's time to let that move. It's time to let that be embraced and accept it, because it's all purposeful. It's all part of the perfect moment. And how we change what is that perfect moment, which in your eyes may be imperfect, is to give thought to what you really want in the truth. Very good. Now, when we receive that child thought, like, don't get your feet wet, you're going to get sick, that moves through the 5 senses. And maybe you'll begin to feel in your throat or in your belly. And if those things happen, you can stop that immediately and say, I am a healthy being. I have no reactions to anything outside my world. Sensation of that arrives from your contact within and without. And that is a big piece of this, because you have to take the time to go within. You have to do the sit and the think. And that's probably going to be a phrase that we're going to have for a while. Sit and think. Stop doing, trying to be. Sit and think. How do you feel when someone becomes across your boundary? Observe. Instead of getting angry, observe. Why? Why am I allowing it? And why do they feel they have the ability to? It's all a powerful unwinding of all the illusion in our lives that sets us free. Truly it is. Let me see, there's something written up here that I'm not seeing. Past situations Gigi brings. Boy, and there can be many of them. You know, our parents taught us about love too. Do you know how many people think that being given dessert or a present is how much they're loved? That comes as a child. It's not about the resonating at their true self and knowing happiness and gratitude. So these things all are sitting in your paper in front of you. I want to change this. Love is unconditional. Let's see. Don't want to miss anybody's thoughts. All right. Now, We're going to talk about vibration again. We are drawn to a vibration of a person, a vibration of a situation, and how it makes us feel. Normally, the human reacts, gets mad, gets really happy, gets overcome. I'm offering for you to begin to know peace, silence, tranquility, and just simply be the observer. There is nothing that says you have to react and put your 2 cents into it. That's what we watch our world do today. 2 cents here, 4 cents here, a quarter over here. Who's winning? What about that you just sit and let that play out without you involving your senses, you involving owning that as part of who you are? That is not being an American. Those forefathers are Americans. How they got where they were is they sat and thought. Truly, the masters will speak how they worked with George Washington, Edison, many of them. This isn't new for us. It's new because we're finally getting to where we can awaken to how to handle truth and to become willing to allow the truth of who we are to become. You're afraid of what that is. And our parents, God bless them, we chose them. I'm not judging them. But the pattern in our world today is to shut people down or to put them against each other. I had 2 brothers, one younger, one older. I was in the top class, good grades. Neither of them were either. In high school, people didn't know my older brother and I were even brother and sister. We were so different. We were taught that at home. I understand that now. They so wanted to overdo what loving to my brothers were that they basically did it through lying, not telling the truth. And yet, in the same for me, I never got, and when I got the straight A's, it wasn't a grand thing. But you see, there's a balance somewhere that allow beings to be who they are. That every moment, no matter what the behavior, has an appropriateness in the understanding about the lesson to learn life. So it's quite intriguing. It's what gives me passion. And that's what I studied in and have my PhD in is consciousness and how everyone interacts and has their experience with each other. You can see how it can go on and on and on. Don't worry, I'm not going to take you on and on, but you can see what I'm talking about. So when you get to where you have understood the power of thought, all right, you also have the power to choose the vibrations that you choose to have around you or participate in. And they always say, as you grow, some friends fall away. Thoughts are not the same. You can't hear and feel the vibration of the self within that. Not that you want to become that other person, but you want like-minded people. We're together here this morning because we have a like-mindedness about us. We want to grow. I hope so. That's why you're here. We want to heal. We want to become all that we can be as we were given that birthright by God and that spark of that threefold flame. Why not? That's the intention. It got lost. It got, well, you understand, possession and being good and being bad and not enough. Those are all ill thoughts. I want to say to you all today, you're all in the trueness of your spirit, beautiful. And I can see the happiness, another level of happiness dwelling inside your heart, waiting to burst out. How would that feel if you could live every day bursting out of your spirit, not giving any power to all the little things that are niggling at you of how you have to be, how you have. I'm not saying to go against laws and that which keeps you safe. I'm just saying to be free in the mind from all that has been given to us that we choose to hold on to. I had a great teacher at one time, and I was a salesperson, became number one salesperson in the country, and had all these plaques. Every week I'd get a plaque. He goes, "What do those plaques mean to you?" I go, I stood there and I looked down the aisle at him and I go, "Nothing." He goes, "You're right. Why not?" And I had to think about that. Well, why didn't any of those plaques mean something to me? Because it wasn't about what I loved to do. Now, isn't that an interesting answer? I knew I had to heal and help people. I had a gift that people hear me and that my heart was open. So his words back to me was that there'll never be any approval outside of yourself, only within. Because you will never believe the one outside of yourself. It will never matter as much as when you believe in you. So I hung on to that job for a while, and finally it left me because it wasn't what God really wanted me to do. And I came at peace with that. Oh, I have an interesting question here. What about the healers that have you dwell on your negative thoughts? I don't know why that would happen, other than I'm wanting you, I don't know if you're talking about me, but we're looking at what is the negative in us to transform it and to embrace it. I don't know about the dwelling piece. Can you explain that better, Yvonne? Yes, I'm glad I'm speaking to those of you. So while we're sitting, just open your heart and let the light that's been set for this morning. I forgot to even do the prayer, but I have already done it before I got on, so it's fine. And Mother came up to me today as I was getting grounded, and she said, as she carried me up to the moment, she says, "Just be who you are, TheoSophia. That will be much more than enough." So even in that moment, she reminded me, just as I'm here to remind you, you are enough, but you can also have the power to have it be what's really the truth of you and make you comfortable. We all have the birthright of true love. We tend to look for it in our partner or in family. But when you really do it for yourself, you have a new awakening about love. And then you can love everyone more. I know I have people tell me all the time, "Oh, I love my family so much." And I go, "Well, when you love you, you'll love them even more." It's just so true. And you must believe me. It's just so true. My family can't get how I love them, but that's okay. I love them anyway because it is unconditional. And as time goes by, my daughter is wanting to be a tarot reader. You can understand that. She's very gifted. She's seen like myself all her life. But life is changing for her. And I really don't have a big part of that other than it's in her genes. So many things you worry about, you don't really have to worry about it. So let me see here. Having us feel the feelings we have about our negative thoughts. This is Yvonne again about healers. Having us feel the feelings we have about our negative thoughts. Well, again, I don't know the situation, but as you move within yourself, let's have an example. How's that? And we find a great anger. I'm not going to ask you to dwell on it, but we're going to discover where inside the aura it is. And we're going to, what I do now is take it into the DNA and actually find how it was in your consciousness for so long. And what that will do is erase it when you give it light to the truth of you. So there are 144,000 parts of you. For the normal person, most of that is negative thoughts. You don't see people, because I can see, walking down the street illumined in a rainbow around them. So I guess my perception is different. I'm sorry. How can you heal without knowing what the problem is? Because in the gap, before the subconscious begins, is the true pattern. I am a beautiful soul. Through your existence, not only in this earth, but through many, you have learned by people's reactions and actions and taken it on that you no longer that those words aren't anywhere around you, perhaps. Not speaking to you specifically, but as an example. So I've had people not even be able to look at me because they didn't believe they were beautiful. And that whole statement has gone to being how the face looks and how they are in the world versus the beauty of the heart and the essence of who you are. So we go with that and then find where that came from and begin to evolve that through love and acceptance and forgiveness. So I guess you'll have to share with me if that's different what you're talking about. Um, but without that and erasing even through all the DNA patterns, you need the what is existed instead of the core belief. Okay? Okay, Silver. 1111. All right. Sorry he's late. The Friday group is people who have gotten initiated into the Babaji technique. You'll find a video about that, and you can email me about it. Email will be at the bottom of this video. Yes, like and subscribe. So, Yvonne, let me know if I've helped you. Oh, she says she loved that. Thank you. All right. Yolanda, let me get this. You have to work with me. I'm trying to work this whole new StreamYard thing, learning every day how much I was not giving to myself. But now I'm aware and making the commitment to myself. I'm so proud of you, Yolanda. I think you are a graduation of this class before you had to go about doing it, don't you think? You can answer that. Here she is down here. Let me see. Oh, lost it. Sometimes it jumps too much. Give me a moment. So it's Yvonne that loves it. So let me know, Yolanda. You've grown so much. And it's by loving that which wasn't loved before, I guess, Yvonne, I want to say. And what it does is like, people will ask me, well, what about your childhood? Well, oh man, I think of my childhood. Just the other night, I was telling my husband, I was raised on a farm. We had horses. I had 2 horses. I had a hackney colt. I had ponies. I did cart. My dad was all about, we were 4-H. I won blue ribbon at the cookie baker as a 4-H. I mean, I had a wonderful childhood. But that does not say in my journey, I haven't healed a lot about my childhood. My interaction with my brothers, even with my dad. My dad was an amazing soul. I know now. I didn't know then. So it's all a profound thing when you really get into all of it and discover you. That's what I discovered. Why am I able to go to the pool and the pond down at the on the hill and see Jesus every time? Why? Why has that happened to me? And you would think I would have had my parents answer that. I had to talk within. I had to find out in my prayer. I can remember even going to church, nothing's moving for me. I would just shake. I don't know why. It's another thing. I had to sit. I had to think about it. There's a certain point, I was a Methodist. They give you a white Bible. Why am I just trembling? I couldn't stop. So it's not always an immediate thing because I was young. I had to sit and think. All right. So here's Yolanda back. Thank you, TheoSophia, for your guidance that brought me to dive deeper into my spirit. I like the way she said that. You're welcome, Yolanda. So I still have a lot to talk about. We've kind of gotten off on our own, but that's what it's about. I love it. I just love it. I want you to share, and we'll talk about things, and that is how you grow. That is how you grow. All right. I have another big star asterisk. Reminder, sit and think. I hope you all are getting that because feeling what you would do when you probably say feelings, you're tapping into the second chakra of emotions. That's going to just put you more into the soup. Feeling natures become in the heart, but they reside there once you have developed and understand that most of the emotions you have are illusion and have been created by your ego. And as they clean up, then also in the second chakra are relationships. They begin to transform. And in the back of your second chakra is your walk towards your becoming. So there is a process in every part of you and every way you do things. And it's powerful because in the end, I know a lot about who I am. It continues every week. I'm not sitting here from maybe 5 years ago. Every week, I still have illumination come to me in awareness and greater peace and tranquility. Does it take work? Depends on what work is. I have a passion about it. I have a true passion about knowing all about love and becoming. You hear the word all the time today, and I'm going, wow, they stole my word. It wasn't my word. It was God's word, right? Kay Scarborough, hello, how are you? Gigi says, I love my parents' thoughts. They were both very wise, and I was very fortunate. I realized around 9, they're more than my parents. They have their own dreams. Cool. That's wonderful. And do you still have their understandings living in your life today, would be my question. That's fine. I had surgery too. It gets better. Do you work with the putty, I want to say, but it's not. It's the therapy clay, like, and press your fingers in. Actually, doing the typing was very therapeutic for me. Just take your time. My right hand still goes to one button and goes, it goes right across the page. But we got to love it. It's growing. And Kay Scarborough is doing well. Thank you. All right, so we're going to keep going here. All right, back to what I'm telling you about today. So there is a willingness. We talked about somewhere this week, maybe it wasn't on this show, but the first ray is the blue ray of will, the will to do. And it brings and comes to you through El More, Master El More, and Hercules. Why that's so powerful is there's a decision here now to make where we are, a willingness to do, to sit and think, to change. Boy, I say that word and you can feel a ripple. And I say to anyone who's going to sit or work with me or talk with me, you're going to change. Number one, because my heart energy is about healing and changing. Remember, I sat with the little Buddha, and that's the gift he gave me. Second of all, when you become willing to sit and contemplate, you are changing the lock, that which you remember from maybe a small child or from a teacher or whatever, is being unlocked and given the freedom to allow the new and what's the truth as you sit and think. So we must become willing to change. And can anyone tell you right now what that change looks like? Only people like me and Yolanda, who is in the process of doing it, and sounds much more happy knowing who she is and being her and having time for her. She's loving her. I can tell you assuredly, most of you don't know what that might feel like. Okay? Oh, you only had surgery on Friday. Well, I'm going to send you blessings from one hand to another. See? It'll all be well. Take time, do your therapy. Yep, it'll all be well. Yes, all doctors are different. All in the right time, that's right. Good. All right. The farmer did not toil the soil in one day and plants came up. I know that because my dad also had a regular job. He's actually the man that put the rubber around wire. He worked at a wire company. And at night he would come home about 5 and he'd go out and work in the fields all night long. I saw my dad at 5:30 every morning at breakfast. That was it. And he toiled that soil. And he had the most bluest eyes, which I don't have, my grandchildren do, that I've ever seen. He was so pure in how he took an old house without windows and made this beautiful farm for my mother and all these animals. But he didn't do it overnight. I'm sure later in his ages he knew he did. But what I'm trying to invoke inside of you now is the power that you have, that it doesn't have to look like it looks now. By taking time, sitting and thinking, contemplating what you want, you can have it be what you want. Believe me. So Rita says, thank you for your comments, everybody. Doing this has opened up even more gratitude this week and has helped me get more organized and peaceful about where I am in my life process. Thank you so much, Rita, for sharing. It's true. I saw this on TV, I hate to say, but I loved it when they said, why do we call the present this moment? Because it's a gift. How do you like that one? This is the moment. This present moment is powerful, powerful, powerful. What do you want to do with it? Because it's a gift from God. When we don't focus on the present and get on tomorrow or next year, it's not the same. It's just not the same. I'd love you to speak to opening one's third eye while living a busy life and working with other distractions. Kay Scarborough. I do appreciate your question, but we're kind of working about remaking your life. Um, there's a lot of pieces to opening your third eye. Um, I don't think it has anything to do with living a busy life and other distractions. I think you need to make a commitment to do and to work with your third eye, become a friend with it. It needs to become connected to your pineal and your pituitary, and there's a spark that needs to be ignited. And you need to start to look at what you might be afraid to see. So, a few tips. Not something I'm going to do here with everybody, but if you want to have a session with me, you might want to do that. I do have healing schools that you might want to participate in if you're about learning more about all of your beingness and gifts. So, thank you for your comment. So, Terry, very sweet. All right. So, I don't want you to think I'm turning you off, but I have a lot of sheets here that I haven't even got to, so I have to try to stay on focus. Thank you. So, as you're sitting and thinking, and you're tilling your soil as you're maybe writing, I found writing to be such a gift. I have books and books and books of when I wrote. When you write, things release. I don't know if you knew that. But then all of a sudden, there's going to be, just like on the farm, a burst of sunlight, and there'll be an illumination about whatever you're writing about. I've already had about illumination about my healing circle I want to do like we did Monday night, but it didn't match what I wanted to what I used to do about my healing circle. Well, the illumination came. So I first gave it thought, and I kind of put it out there, and then it kind of just came out, and the illumination will then do this. And it got to me where I could hear people's voices. We're going to do it a different way, and I'm not going to get into that right now, but it's a wonderful thing if you can try to follow this process to let the inner part of you have a voice. Faith will bring you through any distorted issue and will help a new world present to you. So it's about realizing, how is life affecting you? And then to forgive that you're allowing that to happen if you don't like it. But you do have the power within the mind and how you use it to change it. So there's a nice synopsis for you. Vibration and sensations within you are linked. So let's say a very negative person comes up and starts saying something to me. How I process that through my sensations determines if I'm going to hold on to that or just go on from that. My choice today is, may God bless you and love you and keep you safe. May all that you need come to you. I start giving positive thoughts to whoever that person is. Therefore, I walk away still me. Because what a lot of people don't know is interactions with people, they tend to send a cord to you, especially if they find you have a lot of light and a lot of sweetness and goodness. So Archangel Michael walks with me. You can ask him, he's willing to walk with you and use his sword to cut that away. But know that the vibration and sensations are in your choice. How do you choose to use them? How do you choose to be aware of them? And the word harmless is our answer. When you become 51% harmless, you are beginning to be on your ascension path. So let's think about your last day. You don't have to talk to me about it. So Ron says, for being you. Thank you, Ron. So, harmless is you can't even be harmless to yourself. And that's the thoughts. Right now, those thoughts are being harmless to you because they're preventing you from being your true self. And when you have thoughts about other people, you don't want to be judgmental and criticizing, and you want to, God bless you. God bless you. May you find your way. Does that make sense to everybody? That change is huge in how life responds to you. It's so funny. I can't even focus on the words. I have to remind myself. I guess I've been speaking from the heart, which is just as good. So we have an auto suggestion, which you are the potential power. And when you get that, what do you do with that? All right. By understanding how you receive the potential power, you're able then to direct your life. How powerful would it be for you to know you're in the car seat. You are in control. You are at the tiller of the huge boat. That's what we're wanting to get to. So maybe for a while you have to sit and let God guide you. I know that's what I chose. But then there's a point when you get the whole process. Oh, I don't have to just take on all this stuff. I can choose what I put to my cells to help my body be healthy. I can choose. Do I want to believe that my therapist didn't believe my hand would ever work? My fingers were frozen like that. And when I got home, all of a sudden, wait a minute, you can see how swollen they once were. So, but that's okay. I love it because now look, I never thought I would do this. That's one thing they have you do. Oh, do it like your other hand. Yeah, right. It does now. So believe that you can do whatever you want to do by the power of thought. And that is your power that no one can take from you. It's what God gave you. And He's been patient and waiting for you to discover through life. That's why life is what it is, because we all have our pieces that we have to discover, embrace, and set ourselves free. Why? Because eventually it's to allow us in this physical form to be so clear you can be a vehicle for Him to touch more people. Like kind of what I'm sitting here doing. And you all have the capacity and the ability. Whew. That's so much love coming in through my heart for all of you. I hear that you're listening. Yes. Yvonne says, God guided her to me. She has no doubt. From Carol. It's just a powerful thing to own the magic. You know what is the magic of healing? It's God's love. That's all. It's having yourself become to a place where you know love. And then when you know God's love, it actually expands more. When I love someone, it's God and I that love them. It's God and I that see them. How do I see those angels? Because the God in me shows me. I saw things and angels I swear I'd never seen before. It was a powerful day. If those of you who are on that, I don't know. It was a very personal experience for me. So when you own the power, you can choose and decide a thought. When an ordinary man would take a chance on a suggestion without believing in it or worrying about it and still be fearful, there won't be any fear. You'll just know it. How will that feel? How will that feel? Good. You're going to learn and choose to refuse harmful vibrations. You may do it once, but you won't do it a second time, believe me. When you've become awake, what is the awakening? Being aware of what is truth, what is not, what is light, and movement forward in happiness and freedom for you. You know, when I worked at my job, there was this one lady, she was just always so happy. And I also learned it was a great costume people wore, knowing that that's what people wanted to see, laughter. And she was so painful inside. So you also need to understand what costumes have you been wearing. Even when I say people to them when they're working with them, what do you mean what costume? I go, well, I see a costume here that's doing, oh, you can see that. I go, yes, yes, because there is a place inside. You do know that you wear a costume. Come on. We don't need it. Take it off. What are you afraid of? These are the things you want to sit and think about or sit and write about because it's all an illusion. It's all an illusion. There's no one out there that by a thought can destroy you. Absolutely not. My husband has a great statement. He'll always say, I don't draw that to me. But that's his truth. He's true. He doesn't draw it to him. He's so strong inside. And when I met him, he didn't say a negative word. I probably meant a little bit of a bad influence on him for a while. But yeah, thoughts are who you are. Thoughts are what's in your cells. Thoughts determine your happiness. If you're not happy, where is it inside that you're not happy? Where are you not loving? Where are you not letting God be a part of your existence? And God can be universe, whatever that is for you. I'm not attached to it. To me, I first saw God as the burning bush. And then one of the first times I saw him as a being, where I lived, I was on the second floor. And before I did a huge initiation for Babaji, actually, he told me to go out and look down um, the backyard. And we had went and done Babaji meditations all over the country, and there was a symbol for Babaji, and it was a deer with a rack. And lo and behold, here in little town in Pennsylvania, Westchester, I look and there's a deer with a rack running down, and he turns around and he looks at me. Now, tell me what kind of sign is that? Numerous. Babaji himself's there for that initiation, and God told me to go look. And I don't remember things like that. I can still feel the tears of awe of the magic God is. So when you decide to let him be your partner, those are the kind of things that will happen to you. So let me move here again. All right. Okay. Yes, Karen Johnson, thank you for your thoughts. And you are still here. God is in action in every soul that's here. But you also can see why we drew together, because we have that loving heart. And Yvonne says, I have no doubt. Yes. All right. A little bit more. I have to keep you here. Oh, I think all my notes are done. But you know, that is how it is. I sit and I listen, and then it comes out. So we still have a lot we're learning. There will be more of these, but what a good basis you have in these 6 videos. Today, a lot emerged. And I know that's because you're thinking about it. You're wanting to remake your life. And I'm not saying all of it, there's pieces you want to keep. But I know when you go to hug that grandchild or your own children, there's a different level of awareness that happens. And peace. You're welcome, Terry. You're welcome to all of you. I'm so grateful for your coming. Technical, I hope you did the thumbs up. And see, I can't remember. I get so far in spirit, it's hard to be in the human form. What else do you do? Subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Yes. I disturbed someone on Monday night. I think I mentioned that the power we give to doctors. And, yes, doctors were made by God also, but when they don't have the expanded understanding, sometimes they are limited. So there's a process in our life to determine what's limiting and what's expansive. My last visit to a doctor, nice gentleman, my husband goes to him. I went in and I have white coat syndrome. I don't know if you know what that is. My blood pressure goes way high when I go to be around a white coat doctor. And it was like this nurse came in and it was squishing so hard. I was in pain. And I turned to my husband. I said, Doug, get it off of me. It's hurting me. Well, being who I am, I don't have pain. And so he took it off. Well, the doctor came in and without a machine took my blood pressure. But I won't go there again. To me, that's not taking an understanding of who the person is as a part of what the answer is. So, Carmen saying, thank you. Rita, thank you. Thank you so much. So, I guess I better let you all go. So, let's see what's next is Friday when those who've taken the Bija mantra, we all gather together for 20 minutes. Agatha, you'll have to go back and watch the whole thing. It's so wonderful. And we meditate the heart mantra. The heart mantra is the first mantra you get, and it lets thought takes the negative away inside you. It releases the karma, and it lets you see through God's eyes. Very powerful. And it itself, in that divine seed of light from the beginning of time, be within you, changes your world. So Monday night, I'm going to put a video up about it. I've gotten an illumined thought of how to change it so that it would be more like I did a healing circle. I'll bore you if you haven't heard. Pretty much every week for 30 years. And Monday just wasn't it for me. I needed to be able to talk to people, kind of like we have today. But I like my idea is to do it on Zoom. And so watch for that video. It'll probably be Friday morning, 10 or 11, or you can go and look at it over the weekend. But it's going to be powerful. And I'm going to be able to help people who want to change and see the world differently through new eyes, through God's eyes, with love. So, yes. Again, thank you, the state of grace. Thank you to all the masters and angels who came and sat with us and hold everybody in beautiful illumined light today. And thank you, Mother, Father, for being ever present within the soul and existence of every being here on this channel. And may you walk and be with them, as I know you do, every moment of their day, and bringing them peace and harmony. And the key word, Father, Mother, today is happiness. Help them to find their way, to let their hearts sing. Feel the body let do yet ade adu le yadu yadu le ade adu. Many blessings. Good day. Have a wonderful week. I'll see you next Wednesday, 11, Tuesday for the angels. We'll see how it's all going to work. Bye-bye.